good. Thank you.
Obviously, he's like not a theater guy, but my wife was in the theater. Have you played to crowds like 2, 3, 5 times as much as this? And had to talk loud enough for everybody to hear?
1,500 people.
1,500, yeah, okay.
Well, anyway, I'll stick with this. I wasn't much of a theater guy. Not enough money there. So I guess this is our talk in the way that this goes the best usually. If anybody has any questions, I don't mind talking about myself. So,
Well,
do you have any questions?
We've got one over here to start with. I've been told this is an extremely important, in-depth, heavy question to start the session with. All right, here we go.
I love you, Mikey.
I love you too, Dashiell. That's my son, Dashiell, my 7-year-old. Beautiful 7-year-old. My wife is and got a good, real close friend from Arizona with us too. Luke's with us, cool man Luke. And so I'm having a good time. So if there's anything that you want, wherever our moderator is, you want
I'll give it our first question.
Okay, there you go.
Hi, and you are?
Daniel.
Daniel, what's your question?
Can you talk a little bit more about the Aliens Neill Blomkamp project that got cancelled?
Yes, I can. I was always somewhat irritated that they killed off Hicks, and there's a whole backstory to that whole thing that I can go into. But speaking about the Neill Blomkamp thing, Neill was doing a movie called Chappie, and he was working with Sigourney Weaver, and he pitched her either an idea originally, and I think he had a script, because I believe Jim Cameron read the script. It wasn't a treatment, I don't believe, but I believe it was a script. And I guess he talked to Sigourney, he had an idea. Sigourney always wanted to keep that alien in space. That was always her thing, that aliens had to stay in space. Now, I believe, the guy who created Fargo, the television show, I believe he's working on something for Disney, and I think maybe Ridley Scott might be doing something else that will be like streaming. But Neill, talked to Sigourney. Sigourney really liked his idea. Neill started putting he's an artist and a great filmmaker. He made District 9, and that was just like, wow, I think Peter Jackson helped him get that movie along, and it was just an incredible movie. And then he did Elysium, and then so he was working with Sigourney, and Sigourney was all in, as far as I knew. I just got a telephone call from Neill, and he said, Michael, I'm interested in doing this. Sigourney's in, and we're gonna we're not gonna act like 1 happened and then 2 happened, and we're just gonna ignore the rest of the movies that were made, and we're gonna pick it up from that point. Are you interested? And of course I said yes, I'd love to do it. Not only because it would be fun, but working with Sigourney was really an honor, not an honor, it was a treat. It was just a wonderful experience for me. She's just a pretty magnificent woman and a great actor who's got a great work ethic, and so I was very excited about doing it. And I think that Jim Cameron, I feel that Jim at one point read a script, and Neill kept putting artwork out, and it seemed to be moving forward, and then all of a sudden it didn't. But you know what? I don't really have much more information than that. I know that the next Alien that came out was Ridley Scott's Alien, The Covenant. And whether you liked The Covenant or didn't like The Covenant, I think it was a little bit like the last Terminator. Cost a lot of money to make, and it didn't make very much money back. So I think the days, I believe, obviously I'm wrong a lot. My wife and son will tell you that I'm wrong a lot, but I don't think you're ever going to see those, $250 million movies anymore. I think it'll all be streaming. And Neill's idea, it just went away. and they made Alien Covenant, and Alien Covenant before, you know, it was originally at 20th Century Fox, and then Disney bought it, and so, you know, it's gone through, the franchise itself has gone through some, you know, maturations, whatever that word is, you know, it's just, so, you know, these days, I get my information about movies, about things that even like I might be in or whatever, the same place that you do. You know, I pick up my phone every once in a while and I put my name, well actually my phone knows, it's always throwing stuff at me that it knows that I want to look at, so I'm in there a lot. And so I, you know, I get information, people ask me about Terminator and ask me about that and a lot of things. And so that Neill Blomkamp thing, it's been 5 years now. That is dead and gone. And you know, Chappie was a financial, maybe, I don't know if I should use the word disaster, but that also did not do well. Elysium did okay, I guess. Had Matt Damon in it, you know. You can't make a big hit with Matt Damon. So I don't know what's going on with Neill. He's a very talented guy, but he came out with a picture about a year ago, maybe not quite a year ago, some sort of horror movie. So anyway, that's all I know about that.
So we're all the way up the back here, all the way up in the back rows, up the top. Here we go, your name?
Alex. What was it like voicing an overt parody of 80s characters with Rex Power Cult and Far Cry Blood Dragon?
Well, I think that you actually go on YouTube and you can watch some of it. I'm not a gamer. I don't know very much about video. My son. I'm not much a gamer, so I didn't really know very much about that world. But you know, I did know that the Aliens movie had tried a couple of different alien games, and most people that play those games were like, they're not very good. Just not very good. And I did something before that. Oh, I know that they used an image, not my face, but they used something that looked, well, it is my face too, but it's an image of me and the Terminator to sell another very successful video game. But I had a great time doing that, kind of making fun of myself, tongue in cheek, making fun of the 80s, the action movies. The guy who came to me with that project, extremely talented, just kind of you know, some of these people I get to work with, like him, you know, I'm not putting him in the same category necessarily, but like Jim Cameron, I like Robert Rodriguez, and a number of people, you know, like just amazing minds. And so I very rarely have ever worked on anything that I didn't enjoy. Very, very rarely that I didn't enjoy. Sometimes I didn't enjoy the movie I saw come out, or the TV show that I worked on. Didn't enjoy that so much, but I had a good time doing that with him.
Here we are. Your name?
Attila.
Hi. How you doing?
Question is, can you please tell a little bit about the Abyss experience, and was it very challenging to make for you?
Well, The Abyss has got a reputation for being a very, very difficult movie to work on. I didn't find it to be that way myself. I had worked with Jim twice before, and I knew that he set a very high bar. You know, we were working underwater, maybe 10% of that script, or 10% of my character, 20%, or 10% maybe it was underwater. We were in tank, we were in a 30-foot tank for, 30-foot deep tank for hours on hours on hours, and we were in those helmets, so we weren't scuba gear, and we had an underwater oxygen station that we would just fill up oxygen, and I personally had a great time doing it, and I think that Ed Harris might have, I'm not sure, might have had some reservations about some of his experience there. I think Mary Elizabeth Mastantonio maybe might have had some reservations about her experience working with Jim. I don't know. I've never seen Jim act inappropriately. I've been around directors that have, and other people that have worked in crews that are inappropriate. Jim is a hard-working, movie-making machine, and if you don't want to make his movie, you better get out of the way, because he doesn't want anything to do with you. And he doesn't coddle his actors. He expects them to work as hard as he does, and nobody does, nobody can. We're working on The Abyss, we were working 12-hour days, and we're underwater 8 hours and exhausted or whatever. But Jim was working 18, 19-hour days and underwater. And it has a reputation for being a really difficult shoot. And, you know, I didn't find it to be difficult. I thought it was fun going. I sat in that underwater submersible while they were setting up shots. Underwater, I would sit in that thing for hours while Jim was setting up shots underwater. And I'd sit in there and read. I'd read other scripts. I'd read whatever. I was underwater. It was pretty amazing. The whole thing was like fantastic and wonderful. And I don't know how you couldn't have had a wonderful time. I think that Ed has told the story about at some point. I think that he. I don't know, we all had safety guys monitoring, you know what that word is, I'm trying to, monitoring us at all times. And I think at one point, Ed had to do something, and his safety diver wasn't paying attention, and he had taken a big gulp of water. And I think that Ed was displeased. I believe this is true. I never talked to him about it, but I've read enough to think that I believe that Ed was upset. And I think he was more upset, I think he says he was more upset with his own reaction to what was happening to him, and that he didn't feel like maybe he handled it as well as he thought. Ed is a real tough man's guy. I mean, I used to really kind of describe him as kind of man's man. He was, he's only a few years older than me, but, I'd be in my, Mercedes, and he'd have some little truck that he was driving around. He'd smoke a Camel, no filters, I was working in the gym, he was hitting the bag. He's just that guy. He's just kind of a throwback. Wonderful talent. I worked with him again, had a chance to work with him again in the Rock. People have an impression that movie was like, I had a great time.
So we've got one up here, and then I'll come down to the lady in the front row. So one up here first. What's your name? Al. How you doing, Michael?
Hi, Al.
Thanks for coming.
Just a question about your 2011 directorial debut, the victim. Can you talk about making that film and why you chose to? I mean, I love a bit of grindhouse, and obviously it is in that genre. Can you talk about making that film and why you chose that particular film to, as your directorial debut?
Well, I've had people approach me before about making movies and directing, and people have told me that I respect, like Jim said, you probably make a pretty good director. I never really focused on the visual as an actor. When I was on a set, I was just always thinking about what I had to do, my lines, how I was going to play them, and I was kind of intensely going through a lot of the characters I was playing were always in very intense situations, and I was pumping myself. And I didn't probably pay attention to the way that you make movies as well as I could have. I didn't pay attention. I don't know camera lenses. I don't know anything. I don't even know how camera works. I don't have any idea about film. I don't have films. Well, they don't make film. They don't even use film anymore. But and we didn't on that movie. I had a guy come to me and he said he had a couple $100,000 or something like that. He wanted to make Jennifer talk better about the money. It was very low, and he wanted to make. At that time, those movies, the Saw movies had come out. They were all making a lot of money, where people were just being grinded up in meat grinders and stuff. And he wanted to make one of those. I'm like, that's not my idea of like what I would really want to do. And he asked me what I wanted to do, and I just kind of started thinking about, and I just, kind of made up this story, and which is the movie. And I said, I'll do this, but I have to make all the creative decisions. Cast it, write it, edit it, the music, I have to do it all. And because of the way that it was financed, I had 12 days to write the script, and I had 12 days immediately after writing the script to shoot the movie. So I had 24 days, right? Who said what? I thought that was my wife. I'm like, right, Jen? I had 12 days from the beginning of like, okay, you can do this, to me wrapping that movie out. We shot that movie in, 12 days, 8, was it 8 and 8? Was it 14 days? No, it might have been 14 days, maybe it was 14 days, but 8 and 8, what's 8 and 8? Son?
16.
Joshua, get off the phone. Pay attention to your father. What's 8 and 8? You know what that is? 8 plus 8?
You'll leave the calculator on the phone.
16, thank you.
calculator.
Okay, 16 days, but I don't think it was. Anyway, I'm getting caught up on that. So it was a very, and I had done a movie with Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino called Grindhouse, and with 2 different movies that were directed. It was supposed to be an experience of like what it was like to go back into the 70s and see double features with ads for upcoming movies in between, and they were supposed to be low budget. They were supposed to be, when I used to promote that movie, I used to say, if you don't like sex or violence or drugs or something like that, then don't go see this. Because it was basically exploitation. I just thought like, okay, well, what can I exploit? And the very first thing that came to my mind was Jennifer Behn's body. I thought, okay, Jennifer, would you be willing to take your clothes off for this? And she was like, sure, Michael, anything for you. And so that was kind of the beginning of the idea. And I just rolled from there. I had a friend named Travis Remar, who was a writer, and he kind of helped me put that down and turn it into a script. I mean, they were all my ideas. The dialogue was mostly all mine and stuff like that, but I didn't really have the capacity to put it in script form. And, under the circumstances that I made the movie, I had a lot of, again, like that would be like being Jim Cameron for 12 days, but he's been that way for like 40 years, just like nonstop. And, when I got to that, we shot it on one location, and we shot it, like there's some car sequences in it. And those car sequences were shot. There was a guy that had a driveway. We were supposed to be up in the mountains, supposed to be up in Arizona, up in the mountains where the trees are and stuff. This guy had a long driveway and had trees on both sides, and a long driveway that went up, and then it went back down. We did all the car stuff, just driving up this guy's driveway, and driving back down his driveway, and driving back up the driveway, and driving back down his. So, you know, like the rest of my life, it's been pretty fun, pretty good, pretty exciting. I've lived a charmed life. I don't know why, but I don't know why. I did work hard, and I worked hard on that movie, and I worked hard when I first started. But you know, not everybody runs into, and it was because of Robert Rodriguez that I made that movie. It was because I worked with Robert and I worked with Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino was there every day. Those two guys, they just fantastic people. They just love movies and so, you know, Quentin might be the, you know, the screenwriter of our generation. You know, he might be, I don't know all the writers that are out there, but he's definitely up there. And it was just so much fun, and they just love making movies. And so doing Grindhouse was really an exciting experience. And you know, we had crew members that were doing 3 and 4 different jobs. The prop guy was doing catering, he was doing what, you know, we had like 12 people in the crew. So that's the victim.
All right, time for one last question. So you could destroy the whole vibe now if this is a bad question. But no pressure, okay?
First of all, you call them a lady, so.
I know, well, see, I was looking down my hand and I saw this lady. So my apologies.
All right, hi Michael. Famously, Sylvester Stallone kept the rotten sort of rag that he wore in First Blood. I was wondering, you know, the Terminator Aliens, they're such iconic films. Have you kept any costumes and, you know, key props from those films, and do you treasure them or?
Well, you know, the fact is that I should have. Somebody today showed me I think it's the pulse rifle that I used in Aliens is being auctioned off, and I think that it's, you know, starting at, you know, 80,000 pounds, it's like $100,000.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what the ratio is, but that's $100,000. So yeah, I wish we had a few of those blobs on the way. But
Do you have any?
no.
All right.
No.
I have your helmet.
What?
I have your helmet.
You have my helmet?
Yeah.
Where did you get it?
Got it from Prop Store.
You got it from where?
Prop Store a long time ago.
How long ago?
A couple of years.
Did it just say Hicks?
Yeah,
Did it say Hicks on the back of it?
Yeah.
Have you shown it to me before?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, you probably do have it,
Yeah.
there's probably only one of those, usually when you have props.
There's two or three that are.
There's 2 or 3 that are out there, usually when you have props or costumes, or pistols or guns or whatever, you usually have at least two, if you're the star of something, you might have 3 or 4, so like the outfit that I wore, that coat and those tennis shoes, they probably had doubles and triples on all those. So we had a discussion with some of the memorabilia guys today about, well, how do you know Michael Jackson? How do you know that's Michael Jackson's signature? I mean, I wouldn't mind having Mike, but how do you know? And so it's a whole deal and a deal. And
if you want it back, like, you know.
It's really kind of you, yeah.
Then you can put it up for option as worn by this guy in Australia.
Let's do one more.
One more quick question. Just this fellow here. Hold on, I'll come around here. Hold on. I'm too old for this. Here we go. Hi, what's your name?
Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Michael. Just a question about Aliens, please. James Remar was Hicks initially during the production, and things didn't work out, and you got the call to come and play Hicks. Could you talk about how you joined the production and how things were and how you found your character?
He was really hot at the time. He had 48 Hours, Cotton Club, some other movies. Great actor. And, you know, but I was working, you know, when I did the Terminator, Jim hadn't done anything, Arnold hadn't done anything, Linda hadn't done very much. And I was great, whatever you guys have, you know, and Danny Bill was on it. And so they went off to make it. And then I got a call on a Thursday afternoon, and I was in Los Angeles, in Studio City at my house, and it was Gail Hurd, Jim's fiance, and then became his wife, and said, listen, do you, we've had to let James Remar know, can you come over and play Hicks? And of course. So I was on a plane almost immediately, and then I was on the set. That was a Thursday night, so it was already Friday morning over there in England. Monday morning, I was on the set, and all of Remar's clothes. The little heart, or the heart with the arrow that goes through it, that's on him. That's James Remar's. Everybody got to design their own armor, and that Remar came up with that design of that heart. I didn't like it. I told Jim that it looked like a bullseye to me, and but Jim said, there might have been a shot or two where they saw it. Just wear it. I'm like, okay, Jim, great. So when I went over there, it was like all the sets were like this room, except for they were like the aliens room. It was like they were huge sets at Pinewood Studios over in England, and it was just, you could tell, like, this Sigourney was just awesome. She's just an awesome person to work with. And Bill and I were, like, having a great time over there. And he had met Louise. We were still, like, tearing up the town. And guys who were doing Full Metal Jacket were over there. And I met one of my best friends, Timmy Colseri, plays a door gunner in that. And just a great experience. So I hope you enjoy the movie. And there's... Jim Cameron is just a brilliant guy, and I just hope everybody always appreciates him and the fact that he is as committed as he is. He's really brought us all of you, a lot of joy. All right, thank you for coming out.
Give Michael a big round of applause.